The first lesson you must learn is this: the desire to be liked is the silent assassin of power. It sneaks into your mind when you are young, when you are taught to seek approval from parents, teachers, friends. They tell you to be agreeable, to be polite, to be nice. And slowly, without you noticing, you are trained to value other people's opinion of you more than your own. This is how rulers lose kingdoms, how lovers lose themselves, how leaders become servants. When your life is built around being liked, you are no longer living for yourself. You are living for everyone else. Machiavelli, the great mind of power, warned that love and approval are fragile currencies. The crowd may cheer you today, but they will abandon you tomorrow when the wind changes. They love you when you give them what they want. They turn on you the moment you refuse. And yet you continue to chase their affection like a starving man chasing bread. This is the trap that keeps you weak. Because when you chase being liked, you become predictable. You become desperate. You begin to say yes to things you hate. You allow disrespect. You over-explain. You overshare. You give more than you receive. And all of this makes you easy to control. When you are desperate to be liked, you will tolerate insults just to keep the peace. You will stay quiet when you should speak, and you will laugh when you should have walked away. You will find yourself surrounded by people who see your kindness not as a gift, but as a weakness they can exploit. You will become their servant without realizing it. Always available, always accommodating, never commanding. And when you look in the mirror, you will no longer recognize the person you have become. You will wonder why they do not respect you, why they take you for granted, why they speak over you, why they ignore your needs. But the truth is this: you trained them to treat you this way. Machiavelli would say that a prince must never rely solely on the love of his people, because love is a chain too easily broken. It is better to hold them with a force they cannot escape, respect mixed with just enough fear. Love is an emotion, respect is a calculation. People respect what they cannot easily influence, what they cannot easily reach. Respect is built on a sense that you are valuable, that you have standards, that you will not hesitate to remove yourself from situations that do not honor you. This is why those who are merely liked are forgotten, but those who are respected are remembered. Think about the people you admire. Do you admire them because they are liked by everyone? Or do you admire them because they have the courage to be disliked when it is necessary? Those who stand tall, those who command silence when they enter a room, those who do not bow to every opinion, they are not always liked, but they are always noticed. They are not desperate for approval, and this is why approval follows them. This is the paradox: the less you need to be liked, the more people pay attention to you. So ask yourself, what has your need to be liked cost you? Has it cost you your time, saying yes when you wanted to say no? Has it cost you your energy, entertaining people who do not deserve you? Has it cost you your dignity, laughing off disrespect just to avoid conflict? The moment you recognize the cost, you begin to break free from the trap. Because the trap works only as long as you are blind to it. Once you see it, once you see how being liked has turned you into a prisoner of other people's opinions, you will begin to hunger for something more powerful, something unshakable: respect. Respect is the foundation of power, and it cannot exist as long as you worship being liked. Respect begins with the willingness to lose approval if it means staying true to yourself. It begins with the courage to disappoint others if it means protecting your dignity. And it begins with the understanding that those who truly matter will respect you more when you stop bending to please them. This is the first transformation you must undergo if you want to command the room, command the relationship, command your life. Stop begging to be liked. Stop molding yourself to fit into the world, and start molding the world to respond to you. Would you like me to expand Keynote 2 next in the exact same powerful tone, the minimum 700 words, as a direct video narration? This will create a seamless and commanding flow for your entire video. Respect is not given freely. It is earned, and it is enforced. You cannot simply wish for respect and expect it to appear. You must build it stone by stone, with boundaries that protect you and consequences that teach others how to treat you. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. And command is not shouting, it is not begging, it is not demanding. It is simply living in such a way that no one dares to treat you as less than you are. Look around you. How many people do you allow to cross the line because you are afraid to lose them? How many times have you laughed off an insult because you didn't want to cause conflict? How often have you tolerated lateness, disrespect, betrayal, and told yourself it was no big deal? Every time you let these small acts pass, you send a silent message: I am willing to accept this. And because people are always watching, they learn. They learn that your words have no teeth. They learn that they can push you and you will bend. And slowly they stop respecting you, A boundary without consequence is just a wish. If you tell someone not to cross a line, and they cross it, and you do nothing, you have trained them to cross it again. Machiavelli would tell you that power is not in the threat itself, but in the certainty that the threat will be carried out. If you warn someone that you will walk away if they disrespect you, and then they disrespect you, you must walk away, even if it hurts, even if it costs you something. This is how respect is built. People do not respect words, they respect action. They respect the person who does what they said they would do, especially when it is difficult. Understand this. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about controlling yourself. They are about teaching yourself what you will and will not tolerate. They are about declaring to the world that your time, your energy, your dignity are not up for negotiation. And once you begin to act this way, you will notice something remarkable. The people who once tested you will think twice before doing it again. They will hesitate before disrespecting you. They will measure their words, their tone, their actions, because they know there is a cost for crossing you. You do not need to scream to make people respect your limits. You do not need to explain yourself endlessly. You simply need to act consistently. When someone shows you that they do not value your time, withdraw your time. When someone mocks your boundaries, withdraw your presence. When someone continues to cross the line after being warned, cut them off. Silence is often louder than anger. Absence is often more powerful than confrontation. Machiavelli knew this. A ruler's greatest power is not in chasing offenders, but in letting them feel what life is like without his favor. Some of you are afraid of doing this because you think you will lose people. And yes, you will lose people. You will lose the ones who were only there because you had no boundaries. You will lose the ones who thrived on taking more than they gave. You will lose the ones who relied on you being too forgiving, too soft, too afraid to act. But what you will gain is infinitely more valuable. You will gain respect. You will gain peace. You will gain control over your life again. The ones who remain will treat you differently, not because you begged them to, but because you showed them who you are. Machiavelli teaches that fear is not about cruelty. It is about predictability. People must know that if they cross you, there will be a reaction, not emotional chaos, not reckless revenge, but calm and decisive action. You must become a person whose word is law, whose boundaries are not empty lines in the sand but walls of stone. When you do this, respect becomes automatic. It is no longer something you have to chase. It is something you radiate. And the moment respect is present, exploitation ends. Remember, respect does not come from how much you give, but from how much you refuse to allow. It comes from the discipline of enforcing your own standards again and again, until it becomes second nature. It comes from the courage to let people walk away if they refuse to meet those standards. It comes from the unshakable belief that it is better to stand alone with respect than to be surrounded by people who treat you as if you are disposable. Once you understand this truth, boundaries are no longer difficult to set. They become a way of life, a filter that allows only the worthy into your space. Would you like me to expand Keynote 3 next in the same commanding and intense tone, 700 words, designed for voiceover narration? This will keep your entire video flowing like a Machiavellian masterclass on power. Fear is a word that frightens the weak, but for those who seek power, fear is a tool, a shield, a weapon, a silent force that commands attention when love falls short. Machiavelli said it clearly. It is safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. This is not a call to cruelty, not an invitation to tyranny. It is a lesson in psychology, a reminder that fear, when balanced, is the most reliable currency of human behavior. People may love you today and betray you tomorrow, but the one who fears losing you will think twice before acting against you. You see, respect on its own is good, but respect without the slightest edge of fear often collapses into familiarity. And familiarity, if left unchecked, breeds contempt. When people are too comfortable, they begin to test you. They begin to believe they can say anything, do anything, and face no consequence. The subtle presence of fear keeps that from happening. It reminds them that there are limits they dare not cross. It reminds them that behind your kindness there is strength. Behind your silence there is strategy. Behind your calm there is a will that will not hesitate to act when provoked. Learning to be feared is not about scaring others with loud words or angry outbursts. Those are the tactics of the insecure. True fear is quiet. It is the kind that lives in people's minds because they do not know what you are capable of. You must learn to speak less and observe more, to control your emotions so well that people cannot read you easily. Mystery breeds power. When they cannot predict you, they cannot manipulate you. When they cannot read your intentions, they treat you with caution. And caution is the first step toward fear. Consider the leaders who have shaped history. The ones who left a mark were not those who begged to be liked, but those whose presence could silence a room. They did not need to shout to make their point. Their very demeanor carried weight. You can cultivate the same effect in your own life. Walk into rooms with purpose, speak only when you have something worth saying, and when you do speak, make your words measured, deliberate, and final. People do not fear noise. They fear certainty. They fear the person whose decisions cannot be easily swayed, whose position cannot be easily challenged. But understand this, there is a difference between being feared and being hated. To be feared wisely is to command respect. To be hated recklessly is to invite rebellion. Machiavelli himself warned that fear must never turn into hatred, because hatred makes people desperate. They will conspire, they will resist, they will plot your downfall. The art lies in finding the balance. Enough fear to earn obedience, enough fairness to prevent resentment. You do this by being consistent, by being just, by making sure your decisions, even when firm, are rational and not vindictive. When people know that your punishment is measured and your judgment is fair, they will respect the fear they feel toward you rather than despise it. Fear also comes from capability. People must know, either through rumor or through experience, that you are not someone to be trifled with. This does not mean violence, it means decisiveness. When someone crosses you, you act swiftly, cleanly, without hesitation. When you are betrayed, you do not chase the betrayer, you simply remove them from your circle and make it clear that they are no longer in your favor. When you are disrespected, you do not explode in rage, you simply withdraw your presence and allow them to feel the cold of your absence. The swiftness of your action, the calmness with which you do it, that is what inspires fear. The power of being feared is that it changes the way people interact with you. They become careful with their words. They become more reliable with their promises. They take your time seriously. They know that losing your trust is costly, and that knowledge alone keeps them in line. And here is the most important truth: when you master the art of being feared just enough, you never have to raise your voice. You never have to beg. You never have to remind people of your value. Your presence becomes the reminder. Your silence becomes the warning. Your withdrawal becomes the punishment. This is what Machiavelli meant when he said that fear is safer than love, because fear is consistent. Fear does not depend on mood or preference. It does not fade with time or boredom. It is a permanent calculation in the mind of the other person. If you can master this balance, if you can cultivate just enough fear to keep others careful, you will never again have to fight to be taken seriously. You will have shifted from being someone who seeks approval to someone who commands obedience. And when that shift happens, the world begins to revolve differently around you, not because you forced it to, but because you became the kind of person they dare not disappoint. Would you like me to expand Keynote 4 next? Same style, 7,000 words, strong closing energy to lead into the next part of the video. This will complete the full keynote section and give your video a perfectly structured backbone. There is a weakness more dangerous than fear, more poisonous than anger, more costly than hatred, and that is the need to explain yourself. Every time you explain, every time you justify, every time you beg to be understood, you hand your power to the other person. You tell them, without words, that their opinion has more weight than your reality. Machiavelli knew this truth: the powerful do not explain. They act. They allow their actions to speak, their results to silence doubt, and their presence to command belief. The weak try to convince, the strong simply demonstrate. Think about it. How much time have you wasted explaining yourself to people who had no intention of understanding you? You explain why you set a boundary, why you walked away, why you made a decision, why you said no. And still they question you, they challenge you, they debate with you. Every explanation invites another argument, another reason for them to push back. And each time you argue, your position becomes weaker. The one who is truly in control does not need to argue. A king does not explain his decree. A general does not explain his battle plan. The very act of explanation implies that you seek permission, and permission is the language of those who serve. Machiavelli would remind you that politics, war, and power are not about convincing the masses. They are about achieving outcomes. Results are undeniable. When you succeed, when you win, when you rise above those who doubted you, no amount of criticism can erase your victory. This is why you must stop wasting your breath trying to be understood and start focusing on building undeniable results. Do not tell them who you are. Show them through action. Do not announce your plans. Let them be shocked when they see what you have created. The element of surprise is one of the strongest weapons in power. When people do not know what you are building, they cannot sabotage it. When they cannot predict your moves, they cannot block your path. There is another reason to stop explaining. Explanations reveal your emotions. When you explain yourself too much, you show your need for approval, you show your vulnerability, You show that their opinion matters enough to disturb your peace. And once they know where you are soft, they know how to hurt you. They know which words will make you defend yourself, which criticisms will make you react, which accusations will make you justify. But when you do not explain, when you meet their doubts with silence or with simple action, you rob them of that power. They are left to guess what you are thinking, to wonder why you are unmoved, to question whether their opinion ever mattered to you in the first place. This is the posture of strength. You must teach yourself to be comfortable with being misunderstood. You must let them talk, let them criticize, let them spread rumors, and remain unshaken. You must build a mind so focused on its purpose that no insult can derail it, no opinion can slow it down. When you can do this, you will notice something fascinating. Your silence will bother them more than any explanation ever could. People expect you to defend yourself. When you do not, when you refuse to give them the satisfaction of a reaction, they are left with their own words echoing back at them, empty and powerless. Power is quiet. It does not explain. It does not beg. It does not justify. It moves forward relentlessly and forces the world to adjust. You must become this kind of person. Stop telling everyone your goals. Let them see the result when it is too late to stop you. Stop warning people about how strong you are. Let them feel it when they cross you. Stop explaining why you cut someone off. Let your absence teach the lesson. When your life becomes a demonstration rather than a debate, you will notice that people stop questioning you. They stop challenging you. They stop treating you as if you are on trial. They may not like you, but they will respect you because results leave no room for argument. The most Machiavellian move you can make is to appear indifferent to whether others understand you at all. Indifference is power. It shows that you have elevated yourself beyond the court of public opinion, beyond the desperate need to be liked, beyond the childish hunger for validation. You do not need them to clap for you because you are too busy building, too busy conquering, too busy winning. And when you win, the applause will come anyway. From those who once doubted you, from those who once questioned you, from those who once tried to keep you small. They will be forced to acknowledge what your silence and your actions have already made clear.